Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
We're back.
We are. And it's so nice to be back. We missed everybody last week.
Yeah. I was busy that day, but I still missed everybody. So you start with the introductions, Noelle.
Okay. I am Noelle, and I am coming to you from Southwestern Ontario, where it's actually a nice day for a Tuesday. Usually it's storming on a Tuesday, but it's a very nice day.
Yep. And I am Kelly. I'm the other half of Knits N Pieces. And this is our coffee shop knit chat, Tuesday night knit chat. It's the informal part of our programming. And it's just basically getting together to knit and talk about all the things. So
you and I should just call it chat because we really never ever get any knitting.
We don't get a lot of knitting done. We don't, but it's so good to see everybody in here. So I don't know, we can quickly roll through some names. We've got Lillian was the first person in here tonight.
Hey, hi Lillian and Trudy.
Sitting there chatting amongst themselves. So it's way to go, ladies.
Yeah.
Klaska's here. Mary. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary's waving again.
Yes. Karen's here. She's doing the dishes. Okay, Karen, hurry up and grab some knitting.
Karen, that's my husband's job. So I do the cooking. He does the dishes. Hi, Rach. I saw Rach today. We did a little yarn shopping.
Peggy's here, our prolific sock knitter.
Yep. Barb's here. Annette, Heather, another Barb.
Jamie's here
from Vancouver.
Tammy, Kathy, Marianne. I'm rolling. Elaine's here.
Elaine,
Janet,
Susan, Janet, Lisa, Deborah, Susie, Sue, Ewa, Maureen. Anyway, welcome everybody.
Welcome everybody.
We're glad you're here.
Yes.
And yeah, I was looking forward to this, but I am going to try and knit. I'm going to try and knit. So what's everybody working on? Does everybody have their shift together?
I am working on my night shift. I have 2 sections left to go. So end of the month is coming up. I want to have it done. I think I already made a quick little mistake because I haven't worked on it. So I'm just going to fix it and then I'm away.
I saw Jacqueline finished hers. Did you see that? She just posted it tonight.
I didn't get a chance to get in and really look at it. I just saw it in passing and I love the colors.
Yeah, she did hers, in case anybody hasn't seen it. She did hers in pretty much the most neutral shades of the Akari that you can get. I think one's kind of like a gray neutral and one's kind of the beigey creamy neutral. Mm-hmm. And it really does look amazing. So, yes. And I would never have thought to do it because I would always pick color, but it really does look nice and we'll probably go with a lot more things.
Jacqueline has that very neutral aesthetic going, and every time she makes something, I want it. And yes. I'm drawn to the colors too, but yet I really love everything she makes. So that's why I started the sort of neutral socks. I was kind of thinking about her last pair, and then the ones that you showed on the podcast that she had knit for you.
The ones that she made for me, yes. And she has a vision before she starts something, whereas I just start. And let's see how it goes. So anyway, she got that from her dad, not from me, because he's a planner and I'm just organized chaos.
Ewa says she just has to weave in ends on her night shift. So she said she's halfway done.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them
Marianne's working on her second love note, one of my favorite sweaters. Mm-hmm. I've done a couple. I think you've done 3, right? 3 or more.
I've done 2 adults and 2 adult and 2 children's.
Yeah. Mary wants to know if Tracy's finished with her shifty. Oh, now that she's finished, what's she going to do? I don't know, but her shifty is absolutely beautiful.
I know. Yeah. And I saw it when we were up there visiting. I saw it in person, and in person the colors are just more stunning. Like, it looks amazing. And she wove all of that, or not wove. She spun all of that yarn.
Oh, Elaine, I was at your yarn shop. Oh my goodness. I wish I'd known you were there, Elaine. I would have called you and said, hey.
Oh, in Hanover.
I've got some time to knit. Yeah, it was great. I went, wow. You're so lucky. That's such a beautiful shop. Absolutely beautiful.
What's the name of it, Kelly?
Llama Lane. and
Llama
she
Lane.
spells it Laine, and it's in a church, which was fantastic. I was going to include pictures in our next podcast because I took some photos, and obviously I bought some yarn there. So she lives in the front half of the church, and then her shop is in the back part. And so some of the stained glass windows are actually in her shop, and it's beautiful. So she does a Tuesday night knit group, and it's Sally. Sally owns the shop. She does a Tuesday night knit group, and they've started gathering again to knit outside in the parking lot. And I have to say, I was so jealous. It's such a beautiful store. And also in the I think it would be like the back entrance of the church that you would go into, like a little foyer area. And she has set up her computerized quilting machine. So she does quilting commissions as well. And so now I have somebody that I know that I would be very trusting to send quilts to, because her work is beautiful. And so that would inspire me to get some quilts done that been kind of holding back on because I didn't want to actually do the stitching. I do not have a long arm machine, nor do I want to jump into that rabbit hole. But I was thinking, I could go drop the quilt off, and she said she would mail it back. And Noelle, I thought that would be a nice little road trip. It's 3 hours up there, and it ends in a yarn shop. So it's a treat, right?
Yep. Anywhere that ends in a yarn shop is a treat.
Is a treat, yes. All roads end in yarn shops. And it was only 3 minutes. Okay, answer me this, Elaine. It was only 3 minutes from our hotel that we were staying in. And we were staying at the Grey Rose Suites. I didn't see anybody there because we were a late check-in, and it was a self-check-in and a self-checkout. It was super convenient. It was a lovely place. But Elaine, was it a funeral home? Like, I swear it was a funeral home. And
this is what the place that you stayed, what was it, an Airbnb?
No,
was it a hotel?
It's actually a hotel. There's only 9 suites there, and they're very nicely decorated, and the price was incredibly reasonable. It was really, really a nice hotel. But I mean, I'm a cemetery manager, and I can smell a funeral home a mile away. I think it used to be a funeral home. So you have to answer me that when I get down in the comments. I hope to see that answer in there.
Yeah.
Dawn's here too. Heather is swatching for Andrea Mowry's new pattern, Morning Rituals.
I really like it.
It's so pretty, and it looks so cozy. And it's, you know what? It's the fact that it's rituals, and like when she talks about when she's out on her porch and she's like holding that mug and the heat's coming up from the mug, she sells it. She sells that sweater, and it's lovely.
I've only kind of taken a look at the picture. I haven't gone into I haven't had time.
She talks about being out on her deck in the morning fog, and it's getting cooler now, and she takes her cup of coffee, and she says she likes to get up in the morning before everybody else. And just the description sold.
Yeah. We'll have to take a closer look at it. So.
Okay, I don't think she gets up in the dark, Noelle, like you, but
I'm not in the morning fog. I'm I'm up in the night.
Okay.
Before the morning gets there.
And Lisa's working on a little cardigan for a new grandbaby coming in January. Which cardigan are you working on, Lisa? Okay, I've got to roll down. Don't want to fluff and stuff while quilting. No, Mary, I don't. It's too much. When I finished that quilt, my longest running whip ever from last year's, or a number of podcasts ago, it was Kendall's quilt that I started when she was 7. So it was like 24 years in the making. I swear that's what gave me the shoulder issues. I just can't do it. It was flannel. It was flannel front, flannel back, and it was a heavy bat. So Barb wants to know the local yarn shops in London. Anybody? She has a wedding on Labor Day, so she'll be wanting a yarn store. Absolutely. Well, Noelle?
Little Red Mitten, but Little Red Mitten is in St. Thomas. But if you're going to be in London anyway, it's well worth making the trip to Little Red Mitten. Knit Stitches in London too, but as of right now, she still hasn't been opened. Like, she does local pickup and she delivers, but so far since the pandemic started, she hasn't reopened. So whether she'll be reopened by then or not, I don't know. There's also London Yarns, but I would say Little Red Mitten is the bigger one. Mm-hmm. Like, they've got much more selection. So Yeah, definitely it would be worth making a trip to St. Thomas to go to Little Red Mitten. So.
Okay. Yeah. And it's not that far. It doesn't take that long to get there if you're in London.
Okay, so we have lots of people knitting
working
socks.
on socks.
I'm knitting socks. This is my August Lucky Dip. So this is called the Willingdon, I think, but I just call them my drunken rib socks because it's a broken rib, but the lines are all going different ways. So I thought drunken rib was an appropriate name for them. And I actually really like how it's turning out, and it's an easy pattern to follow. You know, it's just, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. So I just, you know, kind of needed something a little different than what I've done just to switch it up for a bit. But I see I made a mistake already. Oh, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't.
And are you even drinking?
No, I'm drinking water. I'm drinking water so far.
Maybe you need alcohol to knit the drunken rib. Maybe.
I don't know. After the weekend, I'm not sure I need any more alcohol. I need more sleep.
Right. So as you all know, because we've talked a lot about it, but Noelle and I both had weddings in our family last week. Mm-hmm. Our sons got married, mm-hmm. not to each other, to their own wives. But they, so my son got married on Tuesday up in Varney, which is why I was staying in Hanover. And it was at a beautiful cabin, and I will loosely call it that because it's the stuff magazines are made out of. It's wedding ready. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's called Back to the Cabin. And they had that place prepped perfectly, so it was an elopement wedding. So it was just my son and his wife and 4 parents and 1 aunt and a photographer. So there's lots coming. And Noelle, your wedding?
Our wedding was in the bride's aunt's backyard, but she's got an absolutely huge backyard. So they had a tent set up. So there was 60 people for dinner. And then there was a few more people that came after dinner for drinks and dancing. And like the weather could not have been more perfect. After all that hot, humid, sticky weather that we had, it just like Saturday, just the humidity cleared out. It was a little bit cooler, which was nice for later in the evening for dancing, and everything just went perfectly smoothly. So it was just, you know, like I'm certainly not used to, I don't think Ross and I got back home until probably close to 2:30. And then I couldn't get to sleep. I was like, I mean, come on, that's close to what I'm getting up for the day.
And then you missed your naps all weekend.
Missed my naps. And then we had a brunch the next day, and my daughter and her husband and Zoe were staying here. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, but it's exhausting. Yeah. Anyway, so we only have one more family wedding to go, though.
I literally feel like I put 3 weeks into one last week. It was a long, busy week of a lot of things, but all good. Everything is good. And I took Sunday afternoon off. I got all of my things done by 1:00, I guess. And I said to my husband, dinner is already in the oven. We did a pot roast on Sunday. And I said, I'm going out to sit on the deck and I'm going to take some knitting, and I'll be back at dinner time. And that's exactly what I did.
And Sunday was gorgeous.
And it was perfect day to sit out there. Yeah. Kat came out and joined me, and I cast on a sweater, and I made a really good start on it. So I'm already down I've joined it back together. It was such an interesting construction. I'm doing the Cloud 9T, and it's sort of a drop shoulder, but it has this really nice, you pick up the stitches so that the stitches show on your seam.
Yeah, it's kind of like an exposed seam.
Exposed seam. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. And I'm using the Barocco Chai, which is a linen silk, and it's a DK. Although it feels so much thinner than a DK, but I know it's going to plump right up when I block it. And so I'm loving it. So I'm already down underneath. I put everything back onto one needle last night just before bed, and it shouldn't take too much longer. I have, I don't know, maybe 11 inches, 10 inches to go underneath here. And because it's a shorter length, and then there's no sleeves. So I can't be on Sleeve Island. There are no sleeves, but I do just have to pick up stitches and do a little rib and then a few rows of rib at the neck. So far I really like it. It's pretty, really pretty.
Yep. Well, I finished my shifty socks. So that was good. And I finished my shifty sweater. So I'm all shifted out. I'm shifted out. I need to work on something else. I'm not full of shift anymore.
Your shift has ended.
I'm shiftless.
Your shift has ended. Yeah. Now you're shiftless. Yes.
So anyway, but they were fun knitting them, and I'll definitely go back and do something else with that stitch pattern, but I just need to move on and do something a little different now.
Different for a while.
So yeah. Yep. So I need to get back to some of my other ones that are on Sleeve Island and get the sleeves done, because before you know it, this is already the middle of August. Before you know it, we're going to be wanting those cardigans and long sleeve sweaters.
And about to hit the fan, and we need all the woolly things. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, anyway, says, thanks everybody. Lots of people are saying congrats to us for our new daughter-in-laws. So thanks. And I mean, I'm sure you're the same, Kelly. I mean, Jen's been part of our family for years now. It's just official now. So
yes. Yeah.
Oh, Mary's almost off Sleeve Island. Yay, Mary.
Yay,
you can get it done. You still have like 2 weeks. So I can't wait to see all the things, all the yarny things, shifty things. So
Becky said, and I can't remember, Becky, sorry, I apologize. I cannot remember where you're checking in from, but she said she just got on and they have terrible storms from Fred. So I'm not sure. Hopefully everybody's okay at your end.
Yeah, it looked like it was kind of moving up interior of the U.S. because some of the rain that we get later in the week, I think, is kind of the tail end of. But we might be lucky enough that it's going more east.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, okay. The little baby cardigan. Oh, I'm going to have to look back on that one. That sounds so cute. It's called the Mini Sherpa Jacket. It's a kit from a shop in New Zealand called Unraveled. She lives in Australia. So January is middle of summer. So she's doing the 6-month size.
Okay.
Perfect. And, Heather's here from Canal, BC. Now, hopefully you don't have any fires around you. I'm not familiar with where that is in BC. And Sarah's here, and she's working on. Sarah finished a shifty hat. I saw that too, and she's working on the cornicette socks, which is her first ever colorwork socks. Really?
Wow!
I'm surprised. You're such a prolific knitter. I'm surprised that that's your first colorwork socks. Good for you. You'll have to put a picture in so we can see. And what is the name of your sock pattern again?
Mine?
Noelle. Yes.
Willingdon. I'll put it underneath after, because who knows? I could totally be telling you the wrong name, but I don't think I am. I did look it up, but anyway, but I will put it under after, just that quick link. So
how do you spell it?
Will. Willingdon, just like willing and done. I can't get into my device because it's recording to look it up.
There, is that right?
Well, no, I think it's DON, just DON.
You said willing and done. Okay, take the E off of it, everybody, and that's the socks. That's her drunken socks that she's making.
Yes, see, that's right. Appropriate for drunken socks. I get the name wrong. Anyway, I was going to go back. I was looking about the Andrea Mowry sweater because Tracy had made a comment about the kit. You can get a kit for it for $250 US. What was the original yarns that it's made in? Do you remember? Or what weight is it?
I don't know. I got so lost in the description. I was looking at it quickly. It came across in my email.
I know. I just saw it. So I just saw it quickly too. And I just wondered though because it looked like it was a little bit thicker yarn. Like it didn't look like it was like a fingering.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be very thick because she has pockets in the front of it as well. And somebody will look it up. Sarah, help us out. Help a girl out. She'll hop on.
Kloska does say it is the Willingdon socks, and they are by Elizabeth McCartan. And she has actually looked through hers, and she does have a lot of really nice sock patterns.
Okay. Janet's working on Moonwake by Andrea Mowry as well. That's a shawl, right? I think it's a shawl.
Sure. Heather says it's a DK weight, and the original yarn is Woolfolk.
Yes. familiar now.
But for if it's a DK, it would be nice with a strand of fingering and a mohair.
It would be very cozy.
So
it would be very cozy. And in that color too. And you know, why is it? Why are we always drawn to the colorways that the designers choose? Like we could do anything.
Was it a cream?
It was a cream. It's almost like at first glance, you're thinking fisherman sweater, or that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Okay. So that's sort of the styling, and it's the looser fit. It's got that open cowl neck. But yeah, I'm thinking fisherman sweater. But then when she starts talking about it, it just feels like that sweater you just want to get up in the morning and grab.
I'm thinking pale pink.
Of course yeah. And Tracy's got 2 sweaters on the go. She's making the Faye summer top and a raglan sweater by Hohe in the slub yarn with Leo. Oh, Tracy, did you watch their podcast? Because I'm obsessed with that raglan that Carrie made as well. That might be in my future.
I actually bought some today. Where is it? I have to show it. It's such a pretty color.
Oh.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yes. Well, you didn't tell me you were going there for slub when you said, do I need anything? And I said, no, I don't need anything. But
yeah, but you really have to see them because a lot of them are variegated. So you don't want to just pick it out on, but I just thought that I don't know yet whether I'm going to hold it with anything or not. Now, Carrie's sweater that she did, she held it with Malabrigo sock.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember that part. I was sewing, but I was listening.
Oh, Tracy said that Carrie helped her pick out the yarn.
Okay.
So
are you, Tracy, are you holding it with something as well too? Yeah.
Is she doing the same sweater that Carrie did?
Well, I don't know if it's the same, but when she's talking about a raglan by Hohe, that was the pattern that Carrie did. Yeah. Oh, and Becky was from North Carolina. That's where Fred is right now. Okay.
Oh, Deborah says the Knitting Loft has the yarn for $300 Canadian, including tax. Like,
okay, so it's beautiful, but I may be sourcing some different yarn if I make that. Not going to lie.
Like once in a while, I might spend that. But what's really hard is you can spend that amount of money and you can knit the sweater and you can knit it perfectly, but you don't know for sure that you're going to like that sweater on you, even if you knit it perfectly into size, because it's not like when you go in and you try something on. So for me, that's the hard part of spending a lot of money, because you're just not positive that style is going to be what you want.
Right.
So
right. Heather is safe there for fires too. So that's good news, Heather. She said that she's south of Prince George, more northern central BC. And so but she said they did have bad fires a few years ago. So she knows what they're going through.
Anyway, so I was just going to go, there was, because we, on the last podcast, we talked about our new Cal, which is going to be our fall for shawl.
Yes.
Which starts September 1st. Mm-hmm. So there was, someone left a comment on, did we have any favorites for one skein shawls? So I know what yours and my favorites are, but I thought other people might have. And
it was so funny because as soon as I saw your typed response, I'm like, I would have said, I was exactly thinking the same 2 shawls that you said. And so our favorites, and we'll share them on here, is for one skein shawl is hands down is A Trip to Pirates Cove by Melinda Meeser of Rye Flower Knits. It's a shawl that has drop stitches in it, and it's a perfect shawl if you have a highly variegated skein. Like you've bought something somewhere as a souvenir, you loved the colors, and then you got it home and you thought, what am I going to do with this, right? So this shawl is perfect for that. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And then our other favorite, Noelle, is
the Lightweight Hipster by Hohe.
Yeah.
So it makes any yarn look good. You've got, well, in both of those yarns, and I think one of the reasons that we really like those 2 shawl patterns is because they both have drop stitch sections in them. Yes. And when you're doing a one skein, like that drop stitch really helps to draw out the length or the size of the shawl. Yes. And it really showcases the yarn.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw a couple of other ones in here. The Hitchhiker. Yep, I've done the Hitchhiker, and it's a very nice shawl too. And Dawn says Zilver. Zilver is patterned by Lisa Much, and I do believe that it's a free pattern. And we've actually even altered it and done it in different weights. Like I think the original pattern calls for a fingering weight, but we've also done it in like a worsted weight, and then you get a nice big shawl similar to your night shift. So, what others do we have here?
The Linus shawl.
Okay, I think I've heard of that one, but I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sandy said there's a new one from Boston. I'm not sure if she's talking about a shawl there or a yarn, because I thought someone had said that fingering. Is that the name of a yarn? Rith? A new yarn by Woolfolk? I don't know.
I'm lost now. I don't know where you are. I was going to go back. Becky had asked a question. She wanted to know what pattern podcast I was just mentioning. I was talking about the Little Red Mitten podcast. And so that podcast is the two, Carrie and Jolynn, that own the Little Red Mitten. And Carrie had knit a sweater by Hohi, which is, I believe, the Simple Raglan. And she knit it in the Full Moon Fibers slub. Yep.
Moonrock slub, and she held it with, I was just there today, and Jolynn told me she held it with Malabrigo sock. So you're basically holding two fingering weights together. And I'm not quite sure what the tension is that she came up with that, but the sweater looked amazing. Mm-hmm. So, okay, we've got a few others here. Rachel said she was looking at the Reina today. And I've done that one. It is a very nice one too. It's got a nice kind of lacy pattern in it, but a simple lace. The Pembroke, I'm not positive. The name sounds familiar, but I just can't place it. But
Dawn also likes
we can go back and look.
To you, and I know that Dawn has knit that one quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting name. 198
yards of heaven.
I haven't heard of that one. Have you?
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've ever made it. It's not in those 90 whatever shawls that are hanging on my wall. Oh, Venezia by Hohi. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one, Sarah. Yeah.
Well, Janie says it's not one skein, but she's looking at doing a second Vertices Unite by Stephen.
It's a 5 skein, isn't it, Janie? Yeah. I think that's a big shawl. It's a blanket.
That's a hammock.
That's a hammock.
For me, it would be.
Sandy says the Millie Margaret shawl used self-striping and a solid. Oh, that would be fun.
Okay. And that was the one I did that I used the self-striping.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, it was really neat to use the self-striping sock and then just a solid to kind of blend everything in. And then again, I'll figure that out before the next. Boneyard. Yeah, that's actually one of Stephen West's patterns. I think it was one of his first, and it's actually just done in a solid. Well, you can do it in whatever you want, but I think originally it was kind of just done in a solid. So now Barb said she's still got 3 skeins left from her Vertices Unite.
Okay.
But for all the colors, you need more.
Right. Klasko is asking can they make a cowl for the fall for shawls? Or does it have to be a shawl?
What do you think?
I'm going to let you be the rule maker here.
I don't want to be the rule maker. It could be a cowl that's like a cowl shawl, like not just a little cowl that goes up.
Right.
If that's more like a winter accessory.
Maybe we should say like the 100-gram rule. Like if you're going to use a skein of yarn's worth to do the cowl, I'm okay with that. That's still that's a subsequent amount of knitting.
Yeah, I think that's good. So
yeah. So hopefully that helps out. That's some 1 skein ideas, one skein shawl ideas for everybody.
Okay, Karen says she's making a dotted raise from Stephen West, and it can be as small or as big as you like. So that's
right. You can keep going. Well, I mean, and that's sort of the thing with the night shift too.
Yes.
I plan to knit those skeins of yarn. So if I end up being able to go a little bit further, I keep going until I ran out.
Yep.
I know that Kimmy jumped in here too. Hi, Kimmy. I didn't get a chance to say hello. You're not late. Nobody's ever late.
Nobody's late. No.
Nobody's late. And
Rachel
Joe's here from Bedfordshire, UK.
Oh, okay.
Her sock weekend has spelled over into now, Tuesday. Way to go. Way to go. And she's working on a night shift shawl. An Italia sweater.
Rachel said she looked at the Spindrift. That's actually a free pattern by Helen. Curious Handmade.
Stewart.
Okay. And it is a nice shawl. I did that in one of the fleece artists when they did all the provincial parks. So it turned out very nice. Oh, Peggy wants to know what our favorite bind off is for a sweater. Well, I know what mine is. Mine's tubular.
Yeah, I will say mine is too. But again, it depends on the sweater.
Yeah.
It depends on the sweater, Peggy. Because some things, like I like that look of the tubular, but other things you might want something that's like a tighter finish. It depends on where the bind off is too, right?
Yes. Yep.
If you're going from the bottom up.
And it depends what look you like, right? Because the tubular, it kind of is like it just kind of rounds at the bottom, but some people like just that nice straight finished edge. So it all depends on what you want your sweater to look like in the end. But I do like the tubular. So the only thing is sometimes it is a pain because you've got to judge how much of a yarn tail, how much you have to leave to do that sewing off at the end.
Right.
So, and I really like that look too on if you've got a band that goes like all the way up the fronts and around the neck. But again, that's a lot of yarn that you're pulling through the first part of the bind off until you use up some of that yarn. But
okay, I thought this was going to be easy to do, and obviously I can't knit and talk.
I already set mine down. Okay, Peggy says it's a 2x2 rib.
Okay, we're just going to keep chatting now.
Yeah,
that's it.
Peggy says it's a 2x2 rib. I still do a tubular with a 2x2 rib, but you've got to do a couple of setup rows before.
You have to convert it to a 1x1.
Yeah. So,
what else? Okay, so that's that.
Okay, Knitting Mama is here. Oh, we have Scylla from Iceland. Hi, Scylla.
So Knitting Mama wants to know about tension with shawls. Does it really matter?
It depends on how big or how small you want your shawl to be. So, and what you want, what drape you want. So
now, if the question you're asking is, do we swatch for shawls? Heck no. No. I guess I'm comfortable with a lot of yarns and I know what I'm going to get for tension based on a type of yarn.
Yeah.
Not saying I've not made mistakes in the past.
Yeah.
I did. I recently cast one on last year. I loved the colors. I've been saving it for a 2-skein shawl. One came out that I liked. I grabbed the pattern. I cast on. I was probably this far in and realized I totally had the wrong yarn for that shawl. I didn't have drape. It was just clingy. It was tight. It was never going to sit the way I wanted it to sit. So if you're comfortable with a yarn that you're working with and a needle size that you know that you've knit before from another project that you liked the tension, then I would go. At the end of the day, I'm not really concerned if my shawl is a little larger or a little smaller than the specs. I'm more concerned about the drape.
The drape.
For a shawl.
I think if you look at most shawl patterns and the yarn that's called for, they usually use a larger needle size when you're doing a shawl because of that drape factor, right? Because it's not a structured garment like a sweater that you need to worry about, like the structure and holding. Because I mean, if it gets a little bigger with wear, it's not a big deal. So if you're not sure, a good thing to do is when you look at what the designer chose for their yarn, that you kind of need to get a yarn that's similar than that, like a similar, like maybe in composition or in whatever the fibers are that are in it. And a good place that you can look for that, if you have you ever used it? Have you gone to Yarn Sub?
No.
There's a website called yarnsub.com, and you can go in and you can put in whatever the recommended yarn was, and it will give you substitutions for that yarn. So I will sometimes go and look at that, but I mean, it obviously doesn't give you all options, and it's not saying that you can't knit the shawl in something entirely different. But I think if you're not sure, that might be a good place to kind of start to look to figure out what you might want to use.
Yeah.
So,
Jane, so hopefully that answers some questions for you. And if you have more questions, just pop another one in there. That's fine.
Yep.
Janie said,
go back to the bind off because Peggy had said about the 2x2 rib, and Becky had said that, yes, we did mention the Icelandic bind off.
Right.
And it's a very nice bind off too. I mean, I do like it too. I just wouldn't call it my favorite. Like my favorite is still tubular, but the Icelandic bind off is a very nice bind off too. And it very much resembles a long tail cast on. So don't want to miss things in here.
Karen is chatting with Rachel. And I just wanted to say, I sent a message to Karen already. I don't think I have it. It's not within reach.
Oh, did you get your yarn?
Yes, I did. And I can see it. It's too far though. Okay. I got it. I won yarn from Karen's podcast, A Yarn Tale. And we really like Karen's podcast. She's a hoot.
Yep.
And she had this absolutely beautiful yarn. And she had reached her 500th subscriber. And I think she's over 1,000 now. So that moved really quickly. I know she was excited when she got to 500 and then she just jumped. And it took off. But anyway, I won yarn. And when I opened it the other day, I was like, I love it. I would have picked it out in a store. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And no, I can't. I'm too tied up in yarn. I can't. But we'll definitely, I'll bring it next week. How about that? I won't forget it. I'll put it here. Anyway, so I just want to say thank you, Karen. It's absolutely beautiful. I really, really like it. I can't wait to cast it on.
Yeah, you have to show it to me. I haven't seen it.
Well, we have to get together anyway because I've got yarn for you and you've got yarn for me, and you've got one of the prizes, and we've got to get that mailed out. Or I've got to get that mailed out. So we got to do a yarn swap. And what else? Oh, Janie is saying that we need 9-inch needles. 9-inch needles to channel Ray for knit chatting. Yes, I do, Janie. And
I need 9-inch needles and a plain vanilla sock, which I don't have on the go right at the morning.
That's what I was going to say. That's exclusively what I knit on anymore are the 9-inch circulars. But I can't believe I'm saying this, but the only socks I have on needles right now are actually Melinda's pattern, Mr. Lockwood. There's no way
that you can do that on. No.
I could do that. It is way too patterned for me to do and to do this as well. So. And Mary says that we don't actually have to knit. We just have to hold the knitting to make it qualify. So there we go. Very good. Very good. Yeah, I'm still holding mine because I'm going to have to go back and unhold it when I fix that. But anyway.
Yeah. And I've looked through and different people have said that they're doing different things, not just knitting, like someone's spinning while they're watching. And Barb was crocheting this time. So yeah, so you don't have to be knitting. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. You can sit and just drink. If you want to.
Here's another one. I'm just going to sit and pop comments up there. I'm going to let you guys do the talking for me. But actually, Elizabeth is talking about the Opus shawl. Did you see that one the other day?
I did.
Oh, it's really nice. I feel like it's going to be thick. I'm not sure what the recommended yarn is for that, but I think it's a stunner of a shawl. It's got such a graphic element to it, and I really, really like it. I really like it. I don't know that I'll get to making it this year, but it's definitely one that hopped into the favorites. It's really,
I will
really
not.
Nice.
I should show them the one I'm going to do as a sample for Little Red Mitten because it's really pretty.
Oh, the yarn that you have for that is just incredible.
Okay, so I was at Little Red Mitten today because I'm doing a couple of samples for them, and this is one of them. So it's the Overthrow Wrap by Joji Locatelli, and it's done mostly in mohair, except for that where you see kind of the dark, it's either a dark gray or a black. That's just the 80/20 sock, but here's the colors. Try not to crinkle this too much. Like, it's going to be gorgeous.
I love the way
I can't wait to start it.
Yeah, I love the way that the orange goes with the pink. Are they going to end up being together?
Well, it's going to start, it's going to, like how this one is, it's going to end up so that you've got pink on one end and orange on the other, and then you've kind of got the gray and the cream in the middle.
It's so
great. Then when you wrap it around your neck, you get a pop of both of those colors around your neck. So basically the whole thing is, it's done with, like all the colors are done with 2 strands of mohair, but then you move from, like, you start off with 2 strands of one color, and then you swap out one and put in the next, and then you get to 2 strands of that. So you're kind of marling it as you go along. And there's different brioche sections in it and different sections in it. So I'm really excited about starting it.
It sort of reminds me like a stained glass window, like with the dark panes in between.
Yep.
So
yeah. So I'm really looking forward. I'm not going to want to give it back to them though once I'm done. I'll just have to do another one. But anyway, yeah.
Tell them you'll give it back, but eventually you want it back.
Pardon me.
Here's a question. I said, tell them you'll give it back, but eventually you want it back. You want to buy it back. Here's a question. I put the do not disturb on, so I'm not sure why
me. That's not me this time. It's not me.
Sorry. There. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay. Here's a question we can answer because this is near and dear. And Vonda wants to know some yarn shops in PEI, Nova Scotia. And I don't know if you know this, but I grew up in Nova Scotia. So it's definitely got a sweet spot in my heart. And Noelle likes to travel there. She's used to go quite a bit. Well, when we travel
every year, basically till we went to Italy, and then we were going to go back, and then the pandemic hit. So
yes, we have some yarn shop recommendations for you. So I don't know what part of the province you're going to be in Nova Scotia, but and Noelle and I have similar tastes in yarn shops too. Yep. So one of the ones that we both really liked was Gaspereau Valley.
It's Gaspereau Valley Fibers.
And it's a little bit of a farm, and then she has an absolutely beautiful shop on the property. It used to be, I think, a garage, and she's renovated it, and it's gorgeous. It's rustic. It's very authentic. I really like it. And she carries a lot of fleece artist.
Yep. But a lot of other stuff too. The last time we were there, it was kind of like a coolish rainy day, and you go in and they've got the wood stove going, and you can go sit up by the fire, and it was.
And there's a bathtub full of fiber. There's a bathtub of fiber in there, and it's just it's great.
I know. When I went there, I wasn't
you weren't spinning
at that point. I know. No, now I need to go back.
Yes.
But if you're in Lunenburg, there's also the Mariner's Daughter. And it's just a little shop in the main street of Lunenburg. So it's a cute little shop. I didn't really go the first year. I think I might have gone to one in Halifax, but we didn't really go back to Halifax. So most of the ones that we went to were ones that were kind of just in some of the smaller towns.
Yep.
So,
but those are really nice to go to as well, right?
Yes.
And then in PEI, so I've been to PEI, but I didn't yarn shop when I was there. This was pre yarn shopping. So you've got some places though.
In PEI, I went to Belfast Mini Mills and to Fleece and Harmony, and they're actually both really close to each other. Like they're basically down the street from each other. So they were really nice. And then every time we're in PEI, we also always go to McCausland's Woolen Mills. And McCausland's is the place that we were talking about it would have been 2 weeks ago now, where I got that plate. Where Tracy had ordered those plates of yarn. Yes. So like they are a woolen mill. They're really not a yarn shop, but they sell a lot of their yarn there. And their yarn is very similar to like Briggs and Little, but it's so inexpensive. Like I think it's less than $4 a skein for like 113 grams. And so we always go there. So.
Yes. If you go there, you'll be coming out yelling, start the car, start the car. Right. You're going to think you have more things than you should have had.
But you do have to like rustic yarn.
Yes.
Because it is rustic. So you do have to like rustic yarn. But even the mill itself is really neat to see. And they do gorgeous woven blankets. And so those are all there for sale too. And I noticed here Teresa is saying, have a yarn in Mahone Bay. Yes, I've been there too. And it's a nice yarn shop. And in Mahone Bay, there's also an independent dyer called Heidi Wolfret. And she's got a shop. It's in Mahone Bay, but it's not right in the main part of town. You have to kind of go past where the 3 churches are and up that way. And she's got her own shop. And I think it's called, what's it called? London Wool. But anyway, she's got really nice yarn. Like her sock yarn is probably a sock yarn that I really, really like would definitely go back and get more of that. So, but anyway, it was, she used to be in New Brunswick and then she moved, but Yeah, there's lots of great places. And I mean, just Google too, like anywhere that you are. Like I would always just Google and see where there were any yarn shops. And yeah.
Absolutely.
So.
Okay, I'm trying to catch up now. Oh, Valerie's here. Hey, Valerie.
Hi, Valerie.
You made it. Wasn't the same without you.
Well, that's exciting that she gets to go out east again.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous, actually.
Yeah.
A little jealous. Kimmy found a great deal. She found 6 100-gram skeins of cotton fleece by Brown Sheep Company at a thrift shop.
Wow.
In a dove gray DK for $8. Sweet. You got to love those deals, right?
Yep. Oh, Janet was saying Sisterhood Fibers in Tatamagouche is in Nova Scotia. That is. I haven't been to that, but there is the Tatamagouche Wool Company. And they were in Tatamagouche when I was there, but I think they have since moved. And they had amazing yarns in there too, because they had Ravenswood. And they had Knitting Wolf luxury yarns. And he actually did a special colorway just for them that was called like October Sunrise in Tatamagouche or something. So yeah, that was really nice too. And I know that like It in Lace is somewhere in New Brunswick, I think.
New Brunswick, yes. Yeah.
So then you see a lot of that yarn in a lot of the yarn shops there because they're, pretty much local to them.
Are you driving? I guess that's a difference too. If you're driving and you've got the car space, and then if you're driving and if you're not the driver, I like to just sort of hang out on the passenger side and I sit on my phone and I'm Googling yarn shops in the towns that we're passing through and like, oh, it's time for a break and I just need to pop in there. But yeah, for sure.
So,
and Woolen wants to know if, I don't know this answer, sorry, if there's any good fly fishing in our area, because she said that would up the chances of getting her husband to drive her from Maine so that she could go to the Little Red Mitten.
I'm sure there must be.
There must be. I don't know about fly fishing. I know I see a lot of fishermen along the St. Clair River, but
I see a lot of flies.
I see a lot of flies. Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Anyway, she has an RV for 3 weeks. Oh, you can fill that thing up.
Oh my goodness.
You can go everywhere.
It's a lot of yarn. That's all I know. That's a lot.
And however you're driving, if you go through New Brunswick, you could also go to Briggs and Little, because that's pretty neat to go there too. So, Tracy's going to PEI on Labor Day weekend.
Wow.
Oh, well.
She said that she promised that she would golf if Colin would do yarn shops. So
I would promise if you drop me off at the yarn shop, you can go golf while I'm at the yarn shop.
Yeah. Every trip turns into a yarn excursion, in my opinion.
We actually found that getting a lot of yarn was actually good, because when you're bringing the packed car home, because we also bought like art and glass and stuff like that. So it was nice to pack the yarn in, it protected everything.
That's right.
That's right.
That's how you sold it anyway, right? Or that's what you said.
Yeah. Oh, Janet says Lichen and Laces in Sackville, New Brunswick.
Okay.
So I don't know if she's actually got a physical storefront or so.
Nice.
Anyways, now I'm missing all those places.
I know. Well, again, someday, we'll be road tripping our way.
Yep. So, I mean, it's not like I've knit all the yarn that I got there the last time I was there. So, but I'm working on them. So.
Oh, Nancy's just checked in from deep South Texas.
Yep.
She's had the
98 yards.
The 98 years of heaven since 2010.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Someone had, and going back to when we were talking about earlier things, someone had said about the Willingdon socks that they weren't available anymore. So I must have maybe downloaded it back when they first came out. I'm gonna have to take a look at that again.
Okay.
And see. But Sarah was in Toronto to visit the Japanese consulate, which is downtown, and she found herself in Romney. Yeah, I always find myself in Romney. We were going dress shopping. We were going dress shopping for my 2 years ago with my other son's fiance. and they were at a store looking for a dress for her mom, and I walked to Romney because it was like not that far. And why wouldn't you?
I've never been.
So
I've got to go sometime.
It is. It's almost overwhelming. There's so much yarn jammed into that store. So the very first time I ever went to it, it was when Jacqueline lived in Toronto. And it was like one of those days that was so hot and so humid, and it was so hot in there because they didn't have air conditioning. And I'm like, I am not leaving this place till I buy something. So I did. So Barb is saying she was picked to test for the Tina. I don't know how to say it. Tina.
I think it's
Tina
Say. I think so. Yeah. Tina's from Detroit. So she's just across the border. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Monica says you can go fishing in the Saugeen River, fly fishing, and then you could go to the yarn shop in Hanover while you're in Ontario.
Okay, there you go.
There you go. It's a really beautiful shop.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. And, Sarah says the entire basement of the Romney is a sale. Oh, and yes, no AC. Oh my gosh.
And no AC. That was the thing. No AC.
So I'm good. I will plan a trip there in a cooler time of the year, I think. Right?
So
yeah. So also we could talk about our podcast. We had a new episode up late at night Friday, and it's doing really well. And it's long. So apologies on our side. It's an hour and a half. But you know what?
It had been a while since we'd podcast, so
it had been 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And we had a lot. And we were trying to move along, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. And we had I had internet issues. That's a shocker. Yep. So the editing of that was not pleasant. Not mm-hmm. pleasant. So hopefully we didn't even ask. Hopefully the sound in the video is okay tonight. But anyway, it was, I don't know. And did anybody notice in the podcast we had a new background? We had like a bright, vibrant background. I really liked it. I thought it kind of pepped things up a little bit, but it's good. I've got some. Oh, Janie says she loves long
episodes.
That was a feature length.
Well, you can get a lot of knitting done in them. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Margot says the knitting loft in North Toronto. Yes.
Yes, we're going to make it there. We're going to make it there. I got to stop buying. I got to knit more yarn first. Kathy said she's going to Rhinebeck. I don't know I don't think I'm going this year, but another year. So,
yeah.
Anyway, Linda just joined here. She said her sister was visiting for Virginia. Oh, that's nice. A surprise for her mom after 18 months. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, I know. It was so nice that like at my son's wedding, it was like we saw like some family that we hadn't seen probably since my last son's wedding, which was 2 years ago, right? Because they live farther away and with the pandemic. And so that was really nice to see them. But anyway, so someone said, yes, Sarah said she noticed the background. So
I just like to throw surprises at Noelle. She didn't know about the background change until we set up to podcast. And I'm like, well, there we are. We're bright. You like that? She goes, yeah, I like it. So I'm working on a new countdown timer too, but I need a couple of photos from Noelle. So that could be fun. It's coming.
Mm-hmm. So
Susan said she got a lot of knitting done. Well, I should hope so. It was such a lengthy episode.
Yeah, it was like a sock long episode.
Just so you know, our goal is
hour.
It's an hour. That's always kind of the goal. And we were doing really well for the longest time. I would finish it and I would like, whoa, we clocked in at an hour and 4 minutes or an hour and 9 minutes or 6 minutes. And I'm thinking, hey, this is pretty great. And we don't time it. Like we do our thing. And then it was just kind of working out. But the last couple.
Well, but we used to do one every 3 weeks. And then we kind of moved it to 4 weeks. And then this last one was 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So I think that was part of it. But
we should have put a warning at the beginning. Buckle in. Buckle in.
That's right. That's right.
Bring snacks.
Yeah, that's right. So Okay, so Valerie wants to know what I'm wearing. Okay,
No,
this is my, we haven't answered it. I'll just stand up here. So this is my ranunculus in the Cottonlicious. So it's my ranunculicious.
It sounds like you should be swinging around a pole when you're wearing that, I think.
Well, I know, and it's red too, right?
Cottonlicious, yes.
Anyway, but it's so comfortable.
It looks really nice.
So,
anyway. And red is definitely not a color that I think you have anything else in, is it? No.
Nope. Did I go down needle size? Yes. For most of the ranunculuses that I've done, I think I've gone down because I don't need the finished sweater to be as big as what the pattern is, and I like the tighter fabric. And it's not tight fabric by any means. Like it's loose, right? It's not tight fabric by any means, but I find that if you did one in what she calls for, I think it's a fingering weight yarn on a 6mm needle, like that's a pretty loose fabric when you're done. Mm-hmm. So Nikki says she's knitting one now. Yeah, it's a great pattern. Like this is, I think I have at least four. I have four because I did a winter one and did long sleeves. Mm-hmm. But I also did it in an Aran weight yarn held with a mohair. So I had to adjust that. And then I've got a couple of summery ones that are done with a fingering held with a mohair. Mm-hmm. So it's an awesome pattern because you can alter it and kind of make it what you want, right? And there's lots of different sleeve choices, and it looks good in cottons. It looks good in the mohairs. So
I didn't get to mine this summer, but I was going to say, I'm not sure people really appreciate just how small Noelle is. Can I show the picture? I've got my iPad. She sent me this picture this morning.
Okay.
Oh, let me put some brightness on it so you can all see it though. Hang on. This is Noelle with her 4 sons. You'll get an idea of just how tiny Noelle is.
but my sons are also like my one son, the tallest one is 6'2", so it's not like
I know, but it's like an episode of Gulliver's Travels. You're just so tiny.
Well,
so tiny.
Anyway, Karen has to go. Bye, Karen. She said her kids are obsessed with Lego Monsters TV show, and it's about to start. Okay, see you next week.
Don't be late for that. Don't be late for the Lego.
Say my grandchildren are into Paw Patrol, so we have to watch the Paw Patrol shows when they're here.
Okay. Janie says when she picks the episode, she can see the length and she knows what she's in for. All right. Yeah. Well, and we're not offended if you have to do it like in 2 parts either. I do that sometimes with podcasts.
Yep.
And Kathy says you're a mini. She is. She's a tiny little mini.
Well, but then then it's like that's why I can get so many sweaters knit, because they're just tiny.
When we podcast together, we have to put Noelle on a booster chair just so that we look like we're similar height.
I sit on a stool, like a bar stool, and Kelly sits on a regular chair. And my mom is smaller than me. Like we're at the wedding, and I'm taking her over to get her pictures taken, and she's got to be 2 or 3 inches shorter than I am. So anyway, Jean says she's 5 foot tall and she likes being pixie sized. Well, I'm okay with it now. I wasn't so thrilled with it growing up. And I'm not so thrilled with the fact that I have to hem every pair of pants I get. So
did we talk about this? Anna said that she took her first ranunculus off the needles. She held Holst Coast double.
Oh, that would be nice.
That would be really nice, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Super soft. Yeah. Valerie said that she rewatches the good episodes. That's a lot of rewatching, Val.
Nikki says her husband is 8 inches taller than her. I'm pretty sure Ross is more than that.
And she said she's 5'4". Yeah.
If you guys remember, when I first started doing this, I was doing it with my daughter, and Jacqueline is Jacqueline taller than you?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Like Jacqueline is, my daughter is 5'10". So actually Rachel said next time we're all together as a family, I have to get a picture like that with all of my girls. I might not look quite as short, but I'm still considerably shorter than they are.
Yeah.
So.
And you know what? Did we start podcasting together in September?
I think so.
we've got a
Almost a
podcast
year.
anniversary coming up
That's
soon.
right. That's right.
In September. That'll be a year. So
that year's gone by fast.
It has. Well, I feel like we missed a lot of it too, but
yes, I know. Yeah. But being that we really were in a pandemic and we're like locked down a lot of the time, it still went by incredibly quickly.
I remember our first episode, you know, the one where I called 911.
Yes.
Remember that?
Knitting emergency.
Knitting emergency. How do I
drop the stitch?
No, I was putting the phone into the tripod bracket to set up to record, and it hit the side button, which I didn't know, but it was like an emergency button. And all of a sudden I can hear 911 operator. We got in trouble for that. And then I almost did it a second time because once wasn't bad enough. But
Kelly, you can go in and you can disable that function.
No, I don't think you can.
Yes, you can, because Ross did it on mine because he called 911 when he was trying to set the thing up for him. And he goes, well, this is not happening again. And he went in and disabled it.
Okay. I didn't think that you could disable 911.
So, well, you can still call 911 by punching 911.
Okay.
It's just that was like if you hit two buttons at the same time, it did that automatically, but you can disable that feature.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway. So Sarah says she has the opposite problem in her family because she looks gigantic compared to her husband's family. Sarah, I don't get strategically positioned. I just get put in the front all the time. So.
Yeah, short people to the front.
Yeah. Oh, Kathy says she's 5 foot. I was 5 foot. now, well, maybe I just told everybody I was always 5 foot. Really, I'm only 4'11", but.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't really think you're 5 feet, but.
I lied. But I had high hair at the wedding.
That's good.
So.
Anyway. Margot said she did that twice too, and they were not happy. They're not happy when you waste their time.
Well, then don't put things like that on phones that are so easy to, especially when you don't even know that that's something that's going to happen. So.
Oh, Valerie, you are a sweetheart. Absolute sweetheart. She said that we did so much to connect us all. Well, no, you guys all of did.
That's right.
All of you did that. That wasn't us. We're just the place to hang out. You guys got together and welcomed one another, and that's truly awesome. Truly awesome. So I'm thrilled to be part of this community. I hope someday that we actually can get together, like more of us, you know, once we start to travel again, and we'll let you know where we are. And if you're anywhere near us, we'd love to meet you.
Come in,
sure.
Yep.
Absolutely. So
see, there's a lot of people on here that are short. Maybe not quite as short as me. But
well, I think the tall people just aren't speaking up. So I'm 5'8", 5'8.5" ish. And so I'm often the tall person, especially tall among women. I mean, 5'8's not tall, but that's fairly tall for a woman. The average woman height is 5'5", so I'm usually taller. And then I like to wear shoes with a bit of a heel too. I used to wear 4-inch heels all the time, so I was often the tall person. But
well, yeah, I agreed. It's you don't. I don't feel like I'm that short until I see myself in pictures, and then I'm like, oh.
Sarah's 6 feet tall. Wow, Sarah.
Wow.
Good for you. My coworker is 6 feet tall. Yeah. So that can't be easy for you, Sarah. I bet you struggle. There we go. Buying clothes is a total pain. I bet. Like, I have long legs, and I often, thank goodness, crop pants are like the thing for the last couple of years, because now I'm like in happy land with pants, but normally pants are too short for me. So.
Okay, so you wanted to know how far down in needle size I went. I would have to look it back up. You if you can go into Ravelry, if you look at some of mine, like, because I usually do put the needle size in there that I do the project on, and I'm not sure that I used the same needle size when I did the cotton one as I did when I did the mohair and the held together. They most likely that's probably different sizes.
Mm-hmm.
So. Ooh, okay. Sweet Georgia. I didn't really realize that. Barb is saying when you go to see your new grandbaby, you can go to Sweet Georgia. I didn't actually realize that you could go into Sweet Georgia.
You can.
You didn't realize they had a storefront.
I've never been in.
Okay.
I have a fair bit of Sweet Georgia yarn that I've bought from them because I love her colors. They're really vibrant, beautiful. But I've never been
She does
into her
fleece
store.
too. They do
She
fleece
does.
too. I
She
know.
does. She does.
So,
yes. Yeah.
anyway, oh,
I will keep that in mind, Barb.
now the taller people are coming out. I know. I live by tall people, other than my mom and my sister.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I think all my kids have been taller than me since they were probably about 5. Maybe not quite that young, but early.
Yeah. I always get a kick out of it when kids do that sprout, like they're just little kids one day, and then the next time you see them 3 months later, they've sprouted up. Yeah. And our neighbor was over the other day bringing a dirt bike over for Mike to work on, and he was standing beside his dad, and he's nearly as tall as his dad. I don't know when that happened. And I said, he was eating a muffin, and I said, "What have they been feeding you?" And he goes, "Well, it's just a muffin." I said, "No, how tall you got?" I said, "You're almost as tall as your dad."
Well, it's like, if anybody watched the podcast this time, Zoe was on for a few minutes, and she was certainly a whole lot older than she was last time, and grown so much. Yeah. Well, more than that, because I think the last time that Jacqueline and I did one together was, I think it was Christmas of 2019.
Oh, well then, yeah, she's definitely grown.
Yep.
And she's very chatty.
She is very chatty. Yes, she is. Yes. She had a lot of fun at the wedding, though. She couldn't wait for that dance to start. Anyway, so Nikki said,
okay, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Nikki said she designed a sock using some Sweet Georgia.
And I was just going to say, Monica, I commiserate. She's almost 5'9", and she hated being the tallest girl in her class. So did I. Grade 7, my worst year. I'm in the back row, and the boys are shorter. I was this height at, boys early.
Boys tend to not shoot up as quickly as girls do.
I know. Well, I remember like over that summer when we went back the next year, like the boys, actually, no, sorry, that was grade 6. I'm in the back row, and there are boys that are a lot shorter. But then when we went to grade 7, which in Nova Scotia is called junior high. So you actually go out of the like kindergarten school into we do grade 7 to 9 was a junior high. Then you have a senior high. And when I started school in grade 7, all those boys, most of them are taller. So I hated being tall, but now I like it. My daughter's a little taller.
And now I tolerate it.
I mean, there's no choice. We don't have a choice anyway.
That's right.
We don't have a choice.
Right.
So Valerie said that Felicia from Sweet Georgia taught her to spin online. And
yes,
her podcast,
awesome videos on how to do things, because I did learn a lot from her as far as spinning goes too. Just even, it's not even just even anything that she said, just even watching her, like how she does it. So, but yeah, the what is her podcast? The
Taking Back
Friday. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's a nice podcast.
Yep.
Really nice.
And she does everything. Like she spins, she weaves, she knits. And I think she actually classifies herself as a weaver.
Yes,
first.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Wendy wants to know, she said she joined late, and am I from Nova Scotia? So I grew up in Nova Scotia. I was actually born in Toronto, but when my dad's family lives in Nova Scotia. And when I was 5 years old, we moved back there. So I grew up basically, that's my formative years, I guess, until I was 19, I think. And then I moved back up to Ontario. No, 20. So yeah, I still think of Nova Scotia as home. And I grew up in Annapolis Royal, which is right down in the heart of the valley. And it's about 2.5 hours from Halifax. And my dad worked at the CFB Cornwallis, which is a training base, a military training base. So that's me. So yeah, and we lived in a valley. And when I was very young, it was called the Annapolis Valley, bordered by the North and South Mountain. They're not mountains. They're really just hills, but I thought they were mountains. That's what they were called. So yeah.
But the Annapolis Valley is so pretty.
It is beautiful.
Yep.
And we had, in August, we have Natal Day in Annapolis Royal. And I don't know if they still do this, but it was a whole production. And the different businesses in town all sponsored It's very archaic now. Sponsored princesses.
Oh.
And I was Miss IGA.
Oh.
And you got to meet with the mayor and his wife, and you wore, in our school, we graduated in full-length white gowns. It wasn't like a uniform gown. It could be anything, but our dress code was a full-length white gown. We looked like a class full of brides, really. Anyway, so I was a natal day princess, and you got to be on a float in the parade. And as I said, you had like a tea with the mayor's wife. It was all very formal. And anyway, it was fun. It was a fun weekend.
Good.
So.
Oh, Wendy said she joined late tonight. Oh yeah, so she was talking about, she's from Nova Scotia too. Yeah. Oh yeah, and she said she hasn't been home since before the pandemic.
Where are you from in Nova Scotia, Wendy?
My other son, that's getting married next year, his fiance is actually from New Brunswick. And about a week before this wedding, she actually went home, and that was the first time she'd seen her family for like almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so hard to be separated. And I mean, she moved from New Brunswick to here for work, but they had been going back and forth regularly, right? But then all of a sudden you can't do that. And so anyways, it says I'm a trooper giving birth to all those giant boys. Yeah, it wasn't fun.
So Wendy's actually from Cole Harbour. So that's the other end of the province, but it's such a beautiful province. It really is.
Yes. Yep.
So many little, I don't know, kitchen party traditions. And
well, is Cole Harbour in Cape Breton?
No, I think it's over in sort of heading in that direction. Okay. I might be wrong, Wendy. Like, chime in if I'm wrong.
I thought it was.
We didn't go to the other side of the province. Cape Breton was like an entirely other province for where we were.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Anyway.
It's near Dartmouth. Okay.
Oh, Dartmouth. Okay.
So that's up near that's kind of like on the other side.
Across from Halifax. Across the, yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to be back next week.
Yes.
And I apologize for saying on August 3rd that we'd be back next week, and totally forgot that my son was getting married on the following Tuesday. Who gets married on a Tuesday? That's weird, right? Anyway, so I had said, oh yeah, we'll see you next week. And then we didn't. I couldn't. That would have been a little hard to explain. And the Wi-Fi was sort of spotty up at the cabin too. So
yeah.
Anyway, so we will be back next week, and
we will.
We've got
get those shifty things finished up.
Shifty things finished, because that's wrapping up at the end of August, and then we're going to be falling for shawls. And what else have we got? Oh, the socks.
Socks, always socks. So get knitting those socks. It's time to start thinking about Christmas presents.
I was telling Noelle today when I popped into Ravelry to get some addresses to mail out the prizes to. We have 569 people in our Ravelry group.
Yeah,
you guys
awesome.
Are amazing.
Amazing. Yep.
And so many socks and so many projects.
Yep. I know. I keep seeing new patterns all the time that I have to do. And I'm looking forward to seeing all the shawls.
I need to clone myself, and they don't need to do much. They just need to sit in a corner and knit my stash.
I wish.
Knit the projects that I want.
I need one to knit, one to spin, one to weave.
No, I think I can keep up with everything else. I just need a little line of knitters right there in the sew studio. I'll give them comfy chairs and everything. And I don't know. Do you have to feed clones? No. They just need to sit and knit. That's all they need to do.
Yeah.
So
anyway.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight.
Thanks everybody for joining us. It was nice to catch up after a week off. So we'll talk next week. Maybe I'll have my shawl started.
Maybe.
I can't wait to start that. I wanted to wind the yarn right away when I got home, but I thought, nope, I had about this much to go on my shifty, on the second sleeve of my shifty, and I thought I had to finish that first. Then I can start with the other. So
okay. Well, have a great week, everybody. Keep posting those things so we can see them. And
yep.
We'll see you in a
Good night, everybody. Have a great week.
Good night.
Bye.